Hey guys, welcome back to the Cult Classic Kids Show, and today we have to talk about, well, these journos lying through their teeth as per usual, and obviously surrounding the Sweet Baby Ink detected, Discord server now, and just the overall refusal to back down from all these companies, all these journalist websites that are misframing gamers, making them out to be the bad guys when really the lies, the disingenuousness, the blatant nefariousness of these companies, Sweet Baby Inc., the journalist websites, it does not end. They feel as though these, journo sites think that if they could just parrot the same talking points over and over and over again, continue to parrot the rewrite of the historical accuracy of what has transpired around Sweet Baby Inc. detected, that somehow it's going to delete all the screenshots that are out there, the video evidence that's out there. All you have to do is look for it to find the truth. You can't listen to this nonsense, especially when there's no evidence on the side of the journalists themselves that's provided in regards to any proof at all. But to get into it, guys, we got an article from The Verge. And look, I've read through this article. The first thing that they do not admit to is that Chris Kindred, employee of Sweet Baby Inc., was the one that incited a harassment campaign against Kabrutus, the creator of Sweet Baby Inc. detected. They omit that because it destroys their entire narrative. But to just kind of get into a little bit of this long article, they said the return of Gamergate is smaller and sadder, and that couldn't be any further from the truth. The reason why there's such a pushback against the huge mass of gamers that are either they're either in it, or they definitely understand the sentiments that's being transpired by Kabrutus and the group. But it's not smaller and sadder. The reality is that we're in the right and you guys are in the wrong, and you're just trying to make us out to be a smaller group than we actually are. They are afraid for good reason. A group of gamers have mobilized a harassment campaign, absolute lies, disingenuousness, obviously, and they say against a story consulting company, marginalized developers and journalists in protest of what they see as forced diversity in gaming. And the reality is that all Kabrutus did was create a Steam curator page, and they're afraid that essentially people will just choose to not buy games that are associated with Sweet Baby Inc., which is their right to do so. But the thing is, if there's such a small group of people that's, against Sweet Baby Inc., why are you so scared that these games aren't going to sell? Oh, maybe because the people that are against you are the backbone of gaming? Maybe, perhaps. But this is by Ash Parrish, a reporter who's covered the business, culture, and communities of video games for 7 years. Previously worked at Kotaku. Oh yeah, a buddy of Alyssa, whatever her name is, Alyssa Marcante. But to get into it, Ash here is a video games reporter of The Verge with a focus on covering marginalized gamers and their communities, writing about intersection of video games and sex, and finding a way to make the general video games public care about the Overwatch League. And basically she doesn't give a shit about gamers. Okay, it's all about the freaking nonsense, the woke shit. And just so you guys know, like all the others, she's privated her account, and oh man, they just have to hide. That's what it is. They're scared. They know that it's more than just a small group. Their actions say it. But and the thing is, I don't want them to be scared even per se. It's just that they're choosing to lie, and their lies are being dragged out into the light. And because of that, they are scared, because they know they aren't telling the truth. They know they can't face the truth. It's all BS. And that's what makes them scared. And they go on to say the Discord server at the center of Gamergate 2.0 is, in some respects, like any other online community. And it truly is. First off, I'm going to have to make a video talking about this Sweet Baby Inc. Detected Discord server, because I've been in there. I've spent multiple hours in there. It's actually a pretty interesting place, and I can't speak for everyone, but I could definitely give you guys some insight into the server. I know that some people, I'm sure, are kind of afraid to be in that server, which I don't blame you, but at the end of the day, it's just what you'd expect from a dude bro gaming server. And if you're into that, hey, maybe it's for you. But if you're not into that, yeah, I'd say stay away. But I'm gonna do a video definitely going in detail and giving my thoughts and just my interactions with the individuals that I did come across in the Sweet Baby Inc. Detected Discord server. But to continue, while I was there, I observed people talking about their day, their jobs, and their interests. Its members streamed themselves playing Bejeweled and showed off their personal video game development projects. And yeah, basically it's a lot like, you know, a general gamer space. And he said, but one chat room over, the server was filled with racist memes, sexist, ableist slurs, anti-Semitic messages, and incitations of violence against women and people of color. And at the center of it all was one video game narrative development company, Sweet Baby Inc. And guys, mind you, I'm scrolling. She provides zero proof of any of this that's going on. And mind you, as someone that's been in the server, they do not, the people that run the server do not promote or endorse any of this. You have to understand there's tons of people on both sides of the aisle, for and against Sweet Baby Inc. that are bad actors. That's the minority, but that is the reality. It is an open server for anyone to come in, and there can be definitely some nefarious people that do, but the server themselves, the people that run the server, first off, the last time I was there, they needed more mods for sure, but they do not promote or endorse any of these things that are here. And this bitch doesn't even provide proof to begin with. But moving on, he said, this growing group of people want to believe themselves a new incarnation of Gamergate. This is Gamergate. And it's not because they created Gamergate. It's because you guys created Gamergate. Because once again, we're bringing to light the disingenuousness in games journalism, and you guys are showing that by this article entirely. But they said a harassment campaign started in 2014, and once again misframing OG Gamergate. It wasn't a harassment campaign. It was bringing to light the lack of ethics in journalism, and that targeted women speaking out against misogyny in the video games industry. So, you know, not only is this bitch gonna lie about Gamergate 2.0, but she's also gonna lie about the first Gamergate too. And then back then, the harassers use obfuscating tactics, cloaking their oftentimes violent harassment in a veneer legitimate complaint. Here we go. Social media give a platform to those legitimate complaints, and they are legitimate complaints. And thankfully, you know, at least on Twitter, it's fair grounds. It wasn't like that many years ago, a couple of years back even, but now it's fair fighting grounds. While the games industry itself remained largely silent, allowing the movement to grow into a many tentacled behemoth that bolstered the ranks of the alt-right, and they think that it's just the alt-right. Come on, man. Can you be any more disingenuous? This is more than just people that are right-leaning. These are people that just want to be left the fuck alone when it comes to their entertainment. Movements that plague our political landscape in this very day. But this time, instead of assembling under a false banner of ethics and journalism, which you're proving right now there's a lack thereof still to this day, new campaign has chosen wokeism. And look, while we agree that there's definitely BS in our video games, disingenuous nonsense in our video games, we could definitely bring it back to ethics and journalism as well. We need to do both at this point. He said the Sweet Baby as the focus of their grievances. And Sweet Baby isn't the only one. We're fighting against them, but also there's, I'm sure, other consulting groups out there. There's actual proof of this, and they're all about the same general nonsense. And really, even the industry itself is basically reprogramming developers. Take the GDC, for example. I exposed, basically, they're very activistic seminars to reprogram game developers. All right, it is so weird. It's creepy even. But wave of bigoted harassment targeting marginalized developers, journalists, and gamers on social media. Look, they want to keep acting like, oh, you know, they're attacking people that are black and women, and it's like, bro, we're just standing against anybody, all right? And there's, you know, the co-founder of Sweet Baby Inc. is a soy boy white dude, okay? We're just standing against the nonsense. It doesn't matter who's there. If you're for that and you're pushing, you know, this pandering political nonsense into our video games, then we have a problem with you. It's really that simple. And there's plenty of different types of people that are trying to enforce that. You know, you have the same agenda surrounded by different sorts of people. Oh, who would have known? But developers who've spoken out in support of Sweet Baby Inc. have faced very similar treatment, with several making their accounts private in an attempt to stem the tide of abuse. And it's not abuse, it's people speaking out against you. You want to pretend that it's a minority. It's not. This is why the reaction you're not ready for. Journalists reporting on the story have become subject to some harassment they've covered because you're protecting the harasser. That's what it is. We're calling you out and you don't like it. Oh my gosh. The stories have become subject to the same harassment they've covered. The resulting frenzy has been amplified by major actors in right-wing media sphere, including libs of TikTok, Matt Walsh, Ian Miles Chong, and Elon Musk. And first off, fuck these grifters, okay? Matt Walsh, Ian Miles Chong, y'all are garbage. Libs of TikTok just posts a bunch of garbage that, yeah, is trash anyway. And Elon Musk is just being Elon Musk, really, at the end of the day. And then the things they say in our inboxes, most evil stuff you've ever seen in your life. Said David Bernard, co-founder and COO of Sweet Baby Inc. And look, man, I'm sorry you're going to have to prove the stuff that you're saying. First off, you have to prove that it's even being said to begin with, and you have to prove that it isn't you sending stuff to yourself. The harassment campaign against Sweet Baby echoes the gamergate movement of 10 years ago, once again targeting women, people of color, journalists. Literally, David Bernard is a soy white motherfucker. You lying? Anyway. We're just going over like a lot of the same nonsense, but they talk about Kabrutus, obviously, you know, making him out to be the bad guy. And the shame is Kabrutus is such a nice dude. Like, dude is genuinely just mad chill. And you could tell that he wasn't expecting the kind of pushback he was going to get by the curator group that he started. But man, he's just fighting the good fight. He's a strong dude. He's not backing down, but he's also not an authoritarian by any means. And if anything, he just wants to be left alone. According to Kabrutus and the thousands of other followers he's recruited through the Steam group and Discord server, developers have no choice but to make these quote-unquote woke narrative changes. SBID argues the game companies are forced to add wokeness to improve ESG scores. And look, unless you can prove otherwise, there's really nothing to say. We're standing our ground on this. We don't care. We do not want political nonsense, pandering, if it be outright a political slant, you know, dog whistles, whatever have you, or generalized, you know, pandering video games. We don't want it. It makes for games that are not as good as the predecessors. And here's where it's like, oh, y'all clearly just don't care about how you report things. You're just going to deny, not provide any proof that what we're saying is even wrong. And they bring up the most widely circulated example involves clips from a talk. Kim Belair, a black woman. Of course, they had that, a black woman. yo, it's so wild. It's not like she's being judged for what she's saying. No, we have to go to the color of her skin first and foremost. But a black woman gave at the Game Developer Conference in 2019. In it, she counsels developers to terrify their bosses with the threat of cancellation if their requests for inclusivity are not met. See, and this goes to show that it's not even genuine. All right. And she did do this by fact. You can go look it up for yourself. This is the type of people that they are. They said, but a look at the clips, full context tells a different story. And this is all the time. They'll just say, it's taken out of context. It's taken out of context. All these like go-to ways of trying to, you know, argue, I guess. It's saying the term now is taken out of context means nothing, because that's just the go-to saying every time you've been caught with your pants down. They said, but a look to the clip's full context tells a different story. It's clear that Bel Air didn't want developers to scare their superiors into inclusivity. Instead, she wanted them to enlist support from the employees, those on the marketing and community side who stand to receive the most backlash from players. Bruh, everyone's a victim. Everyone's a victim, but this does not prove anything. Does not prove anything. It definitely doesn't disprove Kabrutus and the Sweet Baby Ink Detected group. But in reality, blah blah blah, fuck you. And to continue on, because this is a long article, by the way, guys. But once again, they refuse to acknowledge that Chris Kindred started this. Chris Kindred made this group come together. It is all their fault, period. And they said here, we're just tired of seeing people's creative visions being butchered in order to add something that's not even necessary or asked, wrote Zinji. And I know this dude. I actually talked to him in the Discord server. He's a mod. I don't know if he's still a mod, but and at one point he was the only person, and I witnessed this myself. Here's the thing: Chris Kindred started this insane, like, because they started harassment campaign, made this entire group come together in this Discord server in such a small period of time. Nobody was expecting it, and it happened, and they inspired this to happen by their nefariousness. And at one point, I witnessed Zinji here being the only person that was essentially, you know, moderating an entire server of over 6,000 people that were extremely active. That is one of the most active servers I've ever been in. And so that they did not, Kabrutus and, you know, his friends did not expect nearly as many people to conglomerate there, which led to essentially, you know, chaos. There's anybody and everybody's in that server that wants to be in the server, if it be because they believe in it, because they believe in the Sweet Baby Ink Detected curator, you know, Steam page, or if they're against it. Anybody and everybody's allowed to be in there. So, like, literally, they're trying to piece together the management around this server. So to blame Kabrutus or to blame his friends or to blame moderators for anything that's even posted in there, I mean, is not really fair. They were not prepared for the insane influx of people that were going to be there. And a moderator for the Discord server in a DM conversation. And yeah, this reporter was, you know, speaking of weirdos that, you know, were against Sweet Baby Detected being in the server, this bitch was up in there on some BS. But the reality is game development, especially AAA, involves contributions and blah blah blah. Yeah, whatever, bro. Nobody cares. At the end of the day, we just want you to stop with your bullshit in video games. That's really what it boils down to. And many other developers echoed the sentiment. The anti-censorship crowd like to argue developers should be able to make the game they want. Well, you have to make games. Not only do you have to make the game that you want, but you have to make games that people actually want to buy. And guess what? If people don't want to buy your game, either you lose your job and you get the boot, or, you know, you gotta, you know, make the next game, receive the feedback, accept the feedback, and make a better game that more than 2 people actually want to buy. And I was watching shout out to my boy Kyle. He was playing Goodbye Volcano High. What a piece of shit video game. Absolute, not even for like the weirdo shit that it's, you know, the weirdo look of it and the weirdo shit that's in it. Just the overall game design is garbage. Absolute disrespect to the game development process. And yeah, they're just, oh my god, this doesn't end. It literally doesn't end. I think there was something else that I wanted to go through. Based on the time I spent lurking in the Discord, it became clear these people aren't actually here to create meaningful change for their cause. They're simply there for the vibes, rancid though they are. I'm just here because it's fun. Nothing's gonna happen, one user wrote in the Discord. And there's some people that may believe that, and there's some people that may not believe that. At the end of the day, there's a bunch of people that feel like they've been disenfranchised in the very hobby that they made as big as it is, and they found a place to conglomerate and hang out with each other. There are lots of emotions and passions bottled up being silenced for an extended period of time, wrote another member in the Discord. This movement is basically causing everyone to vent out their frustrations. Exactly, because you're trying to label gamers as extremists. Yes, there's going to be a lot of pent-up frustrations. You are causing this. These are the people causing this. People like this person writing this article, government-funded groups that are speaking out and calling us, labeling us extremists. This is like ridiculous. And they're like they're saying here, that doesn't mean the group is harmless. They want to make us out to be the bad guys. Meanwhile, they're taking the side of the person that started this campaign of harassment. Look at this garbage article. It's like 1 billion years long. Steam has apparently taken some action against Sweet Baby Ink Detected as a publication. A vast majority of Sweet Baby Ink Detected Steam discussion forum page where threads has been deleted. Yeah, because there are lots of, people that were saying things, if it be on the side of Sweet Baby Ink Detected or on the side of Sweet Baby Ink. That's just what it is. Anybody was allowed to comment on it. They didn't think it was going to blow up the way that it did. And it said, meanwhile, Sweet Baby's clients are sticking with the company. The studios that we're currently working with have reached out and offered their support, saying like, hey, we see what's happening online. Just know that we stand with you. Said Chris Kindred, who started all this, mind you, a narrative designer at Sweet Baby. You can't stop people from not wanting to buy your game. That's what it boils down to. You just can't do that. That's not how it works. All right, guys. So now that we've read the lies from The Verge, now we're going to shine light with the truth, because my man's Kabrutus here. He says, hey guys, so yeah, more gaslighting. The truth be told, it's getting boring, isn't it? Of course, I'm referring to the new Verge quote-unquote article of the esteemed journalist Ash Parrish. Excuse me for a moment. I'm going to refer to her directly. Hi, Ash Parrish. Thanks for your new quote-unquote masterpiece. You guys first tried to come for my curator page. I was sad, but fine, I guess. Then you have tried to take down my personal Steam account, okay? But you know what? Trying to harm my whole community is way too much. And know what? We will not tolerate this. So here you go. Have some of your medicine served back at you. Hope you enjoy it. Whoop whoop. And yes, so he decided to post the Discord chat between Ash Parrish and the moderator for the Sweet Baby Ink Detected Discord server. And guys, I know it might be a little bit hard to read, but I'll read it out for you as best as I possibly can. I know the letters are small, but Zinji said, hello, good night or evening wherever your part of the world is. And Ash says, late evening. Zinji here says, I am one of the moderators of Sweet Baby Ink Discord. Ash says, hi. I was enjoying, Zinji said, I was enjoying hearing you talk, so I decided that I would like to grant you an opportunity of we talking about what you want to know. Sorry in case I sound a bit off at times. English is my second language. Ash says, I speak to English as a second language, folks, all the time, all good. Shinji says, so, you're a journalist, and I guess there's something you wish to know, right? My job is to investigate, gather information, and write what I see. And Shinji says, I can respect that, so I'm close friends with one of the founders of the group. This group was founded originally in order to keep track of games made under the consultory of Sweet Baby Inc. Because there is a pattern we notice where there is a lot of games that include things that are vast majority thought of as bothersome and would pull off our immersion from games. I think a lot of us can feel that basic sentiment. Like, there is some weird stuff in these video games. You can call it woke, you can call it pandering, you can call it just bad writing that sticks out and makes you raise your eyebrow, whatever you want to call it. There's been a lot of that featured in games that Sweet Baby Inc. happens to be a part of. And it does take away and takes you out of that immersion. For example, Spider-Man 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2 is a game for me that gave me that exact same feeling. Shinji says, I would like to say this. In the Sweet Baby Inc. Detected Discord, we're actively trying to punish people who are honestly racist and who are trying to cause discourse among discourse. I'm assuming cause like trouble among the people in there. And that's true. As someone, I've been in there, that is true. They do not condone anything crazy. Unfortunately, with this being open to thousands of people off rip, and a lot of them being, people with good intentions, people with bad intentions, it's hard to moderate that. And Ash says, so I've seen. So she admits that they recognize that, she admits to recognizing that they do not condone racism or bad actors in the Sweet Baby Inc. Detected Discord. Shinji says, and I would like to say that we don't hate black people or any of the LGBTQ community. We're just tired of seeing people's creative visions being butchered in order to add something that's not even necessary or asked for. And Ash says, thank you for that and for sharing. Oh my god, she's so vague too. Shinji says, I just want people to know what we stand for, and I want people to tag along and be friendly to each other. Ash says, what do you stand for in your own words? Shinji says, I stand for freedom and creativity. Everyone should get to make the game in their original vision. Shinji said, no wait. Ash says, and you believe Sweet Baby Inc. and the consultation work they do infringes on freedom and creativity? And Shinji says, I honestly do. How? Ash asks. Shinji says, give me a minute. I have a hard time putting my thoughts into words. Ash says, you can take your time, or honestly, we can hold this until tomorrow. It's late for me. I've been working and I need to log out for the day. Shinji says, I can leave my message here and you can reply later. Ash says, perfect. I would welcome a reinvite to the server, but I understand if that's not possible. Shinji says, the problem is not that Sweet Baby Inc. exists. The problem is how much power they have of some aspects of its projects. Alan Wake 2, for example, they had to turn of 5 or 10% of the game, they changed a canon character who was white into a black woman. That is a fact. And there was a Suicide Squad fiasco where the stranglehold of the writers were more obvious, where those legacy characters were reculturalized. I'm sorry if I didn't say that correctly, but they go on. But only one who actually was shown some respect was Wonder Woman. Basically, all the Justice League, they look like dog shit. But Wonder Woman, since she's the only female, the Justice League, got more respectable sent off. And then there's my problem with the most media nowadays is that they include black or LGBT characters without giving some thought about them. It's a good point. They don't have any other trait besides being a mouthpiece that just says, I'm gay, y'all, or quote unquote, I'm black, y'all. I believe that everyone should make a character they want, but they forget the most important aspect of a character is relatability and how it feels like a real person and you can meet in real life. I love the Green Lantern John Stewart because when I was a kid, he taught me a really important lesson that like it's okay to be a kid at heart and to stand up against injustice and people who hurt others. He was really well crafted character and can be used as an example of great characters that make diversity be seen in a better light. And that's true, man. There's been a lot of pandering, nonsensical writing of characters that aren't straight, aren't white, aren't male. That's the sad reality of it. It doesn't feel genuine in modern day. You know, there's some games that manage to pull it off, but there's a lot of games that it just feels cringy or something's wrong or clearly pandering or clearly showing disdain towards other groups. So Shinji goes on to say, but recent additions in Sweet Baby Inc. felt more like a disservice to the characters themselves, like adding a characteristic to someone as if they didn't have any before and that was needed to stand out, when there's a lot of different ways to do the same while still remaining in the original writer's vision. And yeah, there's been a lot of people questioning a lot of different things about the Suicide Squad game and how it is supposed to be a, canon to the Arkham Knight trilogy, when really it doesn't show that to be the case at all. There's a lot of weird changes and different things that are done, and it doesn't even feel remotely in the same vein. And there could be a lot of reasons to that, but I'm sure Sweet Baby Inc. is one of many reasons as to that. Ash goes on, if I stop talking, it's because I finally logged off for real. Aiden went to bed, so if my regular cadence of communication drops out, I apologize in advance. Shinji said, it's all right. And Ash says, the thing I'm going to push back on when you're sharing above is that that's not how consultation, which is what Sweet Baby Inc. does, works. They don't have any kind of quote-unquote power over a game's development or story. The most they can do is make suggestions that the developer decide to include or not. The assertion that Sweet Baby changed a canon white character into a black one is not true. There's a tweet from Alan Wake 2's director saying as much. And they go on to say, and then there's my problem with most media nowadays. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, yeah. Basically, Ash is replying to the comment. She said, I'm going to push back on this as well. I totally understand that there was a time where queer characters in media served no function rather than just being queer. That's not really the case anymore. And a lot of people, a lot of general average gamers feel otherwise. But who's to say what Sweet Baby Inc. does have control over? We know that they are choosing to, undersell themselves. Maybe we're overselling them a bit. I can't say for sure. I haven't looked at actual logs that shows exactly what they've done to these games, but it's definitely, in the very least, somewhere in the middle. They are certainly underselling the shit out of themselves, and I would like to know the truth. The facts, not the scrubbed nonsense. It would be nice to know, but obviously Ash is giving pushback, not with any journalistic integrity, mind you. But here's to show you that this is not genuine journalism. This is indeed activism at play with Ash. And shout out to Packer Girl, aka Nerdigans. Appreciate you posting, and really, we're looking at Ash here. She says, Packer Girl says, Verge video game reporter Ash Parrish said in the Kabrutus's Discord, Sweet Baby Inc. detected, saying Sweet Baby Inc. is not your enemy. And Ash goes on to say, I hope those y'all with an open mind realize the Sweet Baby is not your enemy. I hope you realize that woke is also not your enemy, and that your group continued crusade against woke makes you look bigoted. I hope you understand that non-sexualized depictions of women and inclusion of people of color and queer people in games themselves, making them and writing about them, is a net positive for gaming. And well, when she interviewed the mod, he didn't say that he didn't want women or he didn't want black people in video games. That wasn't what he said at all. But continuing, something to be celebrated, not memed. I hope more of you, like you've done here, actually talk to people you disagree with. And it's just so corny, man. They constantly make us out to be the villain, and really, they're invading our spaces. They want us to, be fooled into buying games that we don't want to buy. It's so nonsensical at this point. Journalists definitely show no journalistic integrity at all. This is why we have activistic fucking speeches here. But they said, what makes me sad is that this is a pattern of behavior that can really destroy people's lives. Why? Because they can't get away with their lies. You have this group of like-minded people assembled in common cause, just like you have your people assembled together in your common cause. And while I believe, Ash goes on to say, and while I believe you when you say you're going to try to clean up your act, there will be those who don't want to clean up their act, and so they'll be pushed into private discords with more people, more like-minded folks who will feel like they have more license and freedom to let their worst impulses fly. And that, like you're admitting, doesn't compensate for everyone. Just like, you guys have your crazies that go on to do some crazy stuff. Unfortunately, that's just a sad thing that could potentially happen, and we have to mitigate it as best as we can. But you shouldn't throw everyone under the bus because there's one bad actor or two bad actors amongst thousands of people. Ash goes on to say, and they'll get even more on the fringe, and things they talk about will get worse and worse until the alienation is complete. They've lost friends, families, jobs, and health because nobody wants to be around them for this kind of behavior. And what does making them out, what is trying to destroy people's lives get people canceled, like, people like Ash would love to do and try to do avidly? What does that do? It makes people desperate. And when people are desperate, sadly, bad things happen. So you're kind of feeding into the very thing you're claiming to try to stop. Amazing how that works. And Ash goes on to say, it happened with Gamergate and QAnon, and it'll happen again. I hope you'll stop digging through Kim Belair and Lisa Mercante's social media, posting pictures of them and photoshopping images of them. Reality is, man, until you guys come clean, expect this to happen. It just is what it is. And obviously, I'm not going to go and Photoshop pictures of them. I haven't really seen much of that, but I'm sure there's some funny memes out there, mind you. But if they lie, they will be exposed for their lies. It's really that simple. And Nerdigans here is highlighting that last part of her statement, saying it happened with Gamergate and QAnon and it'll happen again. And once again, trying to just make us out to look like the bad guys. And Alex Mercer here says she talked to me in private and twisted everything I said to her. And this is the individual that was talking to her in DMs earlier. And he posted this. Good morning. Hope you're well. I'm here to ask if you think Kabrutus is interested in speaking to me directly. I will also reach out to him directly. Kabrutus doesn't want to speak to any of you because he knows you're disingenuous as fuck. If anything, he just wants to be left alone. And he wants to have this space that was made. He wasn't expecting it to be here, but it's here, and he wants this space. Alex Mercer posted someone else talking to Ash here, and this is Shadow Alex. Okay, so this is him. Shadow Alex, hey, who banned you? Ash says, hi, I don't know. And Shadow Alex says, I'm a moderator there. I'm going to undo this. Also, I have a friend that wants to talk to you if that's okay. So that's where the other guy comes into play. Gotcha. Ash says, sure, I don't know how much longer I can go because it's pretty late for me. Alex, Shadow Alex says, all right, his name is Jinji. Ash says, I got him. Nice chatting with y'all. Shadow Alex says, I'm talking to Jinji right now. He's going to send you a message. And that's the message is it's part him and part me. Have a good night. Ash says, you as well. So, I mean, hey, man, they're definitely being taken out of context. And this is why Kabrutus said not to even speak to these people because they don't care. They will do everything to take us out of context to make us look bad. And I don't blame him for saying that. And I agree in the same sentiment. I would never talk to one of these fucking journalists for these hack fraud con men websites. It's a waste of time. They have no interest in telling the truth. They have no interest in being genuine. They have no interest in being unbiased. They don't care. Everything is to make us look like the enemy. Meanwhile, Chris Kindred once again started this harassment campaign, but suddenly it's been projected onto us. And I'm glad that no one's backing down. It's really cool to see. But guys, I will definitely be making a video discussing my interactions with the Sweet Baby Ink Detected Discord server because it is definitely interesting. It has been pretty fun, and definitely I want to give you guys the thought of, the genuine thought of what goes on there, because they're definitely being made to look like the bad guy, which is totally not cool, man. It's sad, but it is what it is. We have the liars, and yeah. Here, News Lobster says, update, writer of The Verge, Gamergate 2 hit piece openly admitted to having a one-sided agenda. They did not want to put an accurate timeline of events into the story so they could depict Sweet Baby Inc. as victims who didn't harass the Steam curator group. And you read this wrong. Says, I interviewed her. Her editors told her that giving an accurate timeline may make it seem as if their outlet is implying the backlash was to some extent deserved, a stance they want to avoid. And here's DMs from Ash here. Says, I hear you and I understand, and this is where we part. Ideologically, at least, I'll share the conversation I had with my editors about this because I'm in preparation of my piece. I struggle with this particular bit, and the conversation I had really helped me understand Kabrutus and his ilk have a grievance against Sweet Baby Inc. that is rooted in racism and misogyny, and there is no basis in the reality of how video game development works. That's it, period. And when you get into the nitty-gritty of who did what when, not obviously the who's and the what's that's necessarily to explain a story, the central premise gets lost. And me personally, I have to remember that my piece is ultimately about and is not about providing a timeline of events, not telling the truth, essentially. It's bigger than that. It's about explaining that the reason you're hearing about this company called Sweet Baby and Gamergate 2.0 getting thrown around is because there's a group of people who decided they hate woke video games and found a convenient scapegoat to target a larger conspiracy to underpin it. So off rip, they just admitting outright they will not be genuine. They will not tell the truth and let the people decide who is in the wrong. We just automatically in their mind, we're in the wrong. They're going to put all of this shit against us. So yeah, what's the use in talking to people like this? That's my question. So it is what it is, but yeah, guys, that's what I got for y'all today. The fucking truth. But if you guys can like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me over on Twitter, Kick if you'd like to continue the conversation. If you like the hat, check out the merch store. Link is in the description below. Like I said, I'm going to make a video talking about the Discord server. And yeah, guys, with that being said, I'm out. Peace.